The coffin no one opened. And the password buried with it. There was a man, 30 years old, well-dressed. Always smiling, with a MacBook in his hand. And a secret worth hundreds of millions of dollars. His name was Gerald Cotten, but on the internet, they called him Crypto King. Because he built a crypto exchange called Quadriga, a place where thousands of people drop their Bitcoin, safe, fast, Canadian, trusted. A crypto platform that was supposed to be the bank of the future. Until one day, the man died, in India, on his honeymoon. In an ancient city called Jaipur, they said it was Crohn's disease, septic shock. Doctors claimed they did everything they could. 2 days later, his heart stopped. He was gone. But this is where the story actually begins. Because when Gerald died, $250 million in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and cash vanished with him. What does that even mean? It means no one had the passwords. The entire exchange, every single digital key, was stored inside that man's head. And now that head is in the ground. That's the story the company told. But let me tell you what really happened. 12 days before the India trip, Gerald walked into a law office, and he wrote a will. Not about the company, not about the customers, not even a single line about the Bitcoin he held in trust. Just his personal assets, beach house, private plane, a yacht, his dogs. He even left $100,000 in trust for his dogs, but for the 100,000 customers who gave him their life savings? Nothing. Then he flew to India, checked into the Oberoi Raj Villas, one of the most luxurious hotels in the country, marble bathtubs, private balconies, horses walking through the garden. A few days later, he was declared dead, at Fortis Hospital, the death certificate. They spelled his name wrong, Cotton instead of Cotton. The body returned to Canada. In a sealed coffin, no one opened it, no autopsy, no third-party confirmation, just his wife, and a stack of papers. By the time the news broke, millions of dollars were already gone. And here's what makes it worse, the exchange was still online, people were still depositing money, even after Gerald was dead, even when no one had the keys. Now imagine this. One man, with a laptop, in an apartment, running $1 billion crypto exchange, completely alone. No team, no accounting department, no finance officer, no one. Just him, a spreadsheet, and the trust of tens of thousands of people. A trust that is now buried with a sealed coffin? And the question still haunts everyone. Did Gerald Cotten really die? Or did he just vanish? And take everything with him? The boy with two names. And a past the internet never forgot. Let's rewind. All the way back, before India. Before the will. Before the sealed coffin. Even before Quadriga existed. Back when Gerald was just another kid on the internet, with a fake name, Scepter. He wasn't running a crypto exchange yet, he was running something else, high-yield investment program. High EAPS, scams. Schemes that promised 500% profit in 24 hours. But in reality? Classic Ponzi. New investors paid the old ones, until the site vanished, and so did the money. And he wasn't alone. He had a partner, Michael Patrin, except that wasn't his real name either. His real name was Omar Danani, a convicted fraudster in the United States Idaho theft. Credit card fraud, prison time. Then, name change, rebranding, criminal addition. Together, Gerald and Patrin ran scams in the shadows, until the world moved on, and crypto came in. Fast forward to 2013, Bitcoin was booming, people were hungry for a place to trade. Gerald and Patrin saw the opening, so they launched Quadriga CX. It started small, cash for crypto trades, one Bitcoin ATM in Vancouver, then an online platform, and soon it grew. By 2017, Quadriga became the largest crypto exchange in Canada, but somewhere along the way, Michael Patrin disappeared from public view. He stayed in the shadows, Gerald? He became the face, the clean, trustworthy, soft-spoken CEO, the guy who said, "We believe in transparency." But behind that smile was a lie. In 2016, every board member of Quadriga resigned. The company shut down its office, no more staff, no legal department, no finance team. Just Gerald, alone, running a billion-dollar exchange, from his laptop. And there's something else, something people didn't know. Gerald was creating fake accounts. On his own platform, using names like Chris Marquet, and even his old alias, Scepter. What did he do with those accounts? He gave them fake balances, hundreds of thousands of dollars, that didn't exist, and with that fake money, he bought real Bitcoin from real customers. Then moved that Bitcoin off the platform, to private wallets, to other exchanges, to places only he had access to. He was printing money that wasn't real, and trading it for money that was. Buyer, seller, banker, thief, all the same man. And no one noticed, because no one else had access, no one saw the files, no one checked the logs, no audits. No oversight. Just one man, and everyone trusted him. Because he wore a hoodie, smiled at interviews, and talked about innovation. People think scams come with red flags. But sometimes, scams come with soft voices and polite Canadian accents. And when Gerald vanished, people weren't just robbed, they were stunned. How could no one have seen it coming? Simple. Because he smiled, and when people smile, we stop asking questions. When the locks were opened, there was nothing inside. It was winter. 2019, weeks had passed since Gerald Cotten's death, the Quadriga website had shut down, and a single line dropped like a brick on everyone's head. We can't access the crypto reserves. Because only the late CEO knew the password. But then, the court brought in the big guys, an audit firm, Ernst & Young, with full authority to investigate. At first, people still had hope. They thought, maybe the tech guys can crack it. Maybe they'll find the wallets. But when they checked the blockchains, when they traced the transactions, a terrifying truth began to unfold. There were no Bitcoins, no Ethereum in the wallets, nothing. What people thought was locked away safely, had already been emptied months before Gerald's death. Cold wallets, the ones that were supposed to be the safest vaults, hadn't received a single coin since April 2018. Not because the passwords were lost, no. Much simpler. Because there was nothing to unlock. People believed their money was stuck. Turns out, it had already disappeared, silently, long before the panic began. Investigators followed the trail. They discovered that Gerald had been moving crypto out of those wallets for years, sending them to external exchanges, to accounts only he controlled. And now? Those accounts were empty too. Why? Because Gerald had spent it on trading, on risky margin bets, on luxury. The numbers were staggering. 9,450 Bitcoin, 387,000 Ethereum, 239,000 Litecoin gone, vanished, no trace. No return. But it gets worse. Because now they realized, Gerald hadn't just drained funds. He created fake accounts on his own exchange, under names like Chris Marquet, and his old alias, Scepter. And then? He gave himself fake balances, hundreds of thousands of dollars that didn't exist. With those made-up funds, he bought real crypto from real customers, and transferred the crypto out of Quadriga, to real wallets, to real value, all for himself. He was both the buyer and the seller, both the bookkeeper and the thief. A digital Ponzi, silent, clean, ruthless. And the worst part? No one knew, because no one else had access, no one else had the files, no oversight, no audit, no watchdogs. Just him, his laptop, and total control. For years, Gerald used new deposits to pay off old withdrawals, to keep the illusion alive, to keep the trust from collapsing. Until one day, the money ran out. And death came, or he left. And thousands of people were left staring at an empty balance, a broken login page, and a single question: who did I trust with my money? The man who may have never died. December 2018, Gerald Cotten's body was flown home from India, inside a coffin. Sealed. They said it was Crohn's disease, septic shock. Fortis Hospital in Jaipur issued the death certificate. But there was a problem. They spelled his name wrong, Cotten, with an A instead of an E. A simple typo? Or a planted mistake? No autopsy, no second opinion, no Canadian medical confirmation, just his wife, and a closed casket. No one ever saw the body. And yet, the Quadriga exchange stayed online. For weeks, people were still depositing money, even after the man who held every password was gone. Then the rumors started, at first, whispers, then blogs, then Reddit threads, deep dives, Telegram channels. He faked his death. He's not dead, he's disappeared. This was the perfect exit scam? The evidence? Too much to ignore. 12 days before his death, Gerald wrote a will, left everything to his wife, the houses, the yacht, the plane, even set aside $100,000 for his dogs. But not a word about Quadriga, not a mention of customer funds, not a line about the crypto. And where did he die? In India, a country where death certificates are easily bought, where ID fraud isn't rare, where you can vanish, for the right price. The body came back sealed, no visual ID, the funeral. Closed casket, fast. Quiet, no press. No public. No verification. And the wallets? The crypto wallets people thought were locked? Empty, long before he died, emptied months earlier. So if he faked his death, then why hasn't he touched the money? Because here's the most chilling part. None of the stolen crypto has ever moved. No Bitcoin, no Ethereum, not a single suspicious transaction, nothing. So two possibilities remain. Either he died, right in the middle of his fraud, the ultimate collapse. Or he disappeared and walked away clean. There was even a formal request from the victim's legal team to exhume the body, to open the coffin, to test the DNA. Because too many people still believe that coffin is empty. But the Canadian authorities never followed through, they let it be, and with time, the noise died down. So now we're left with a legend of a man who smiled on camera, talked softly, wore a hoodie, and may have pulled off the cleanest financial vanishing act in modern history. And if he did it, he's out there, somewhere, under a new name, living off money no one can ever trace. Or maybe he really is dead, and we've all just built a ghost story because the truth is too boring to accept. But here's the thing, no one knows for sure, not the lawyers, not the RCMP, not the blockchain experts. Not even his wife, and that's what makes this story so dangerous. Because sometimes, the scariest heist is the one that never leaves evidence, the scariest death is the one you're never quite sure happened. So now we ask, what do you believe? Did Gerald Cotten really die? Or is he still out there? Watching this video right now, and smiling? If this story gave you chills, or left you with more questions than answers, like the video to help others find it. Drop a comment. Do you think Gerald Cotten really died? Or did he disappear with $250 million? And if you love real-life mysteries that feel stranger than fiction, subscribe for more. Next story? It might be about someone you know, but never really knew.